Hey everyone, I'm Justin with AmericanTrucks.com, and today we're taking a closer look at the Red Rock OEM style fender flares here, available for all 2009 to 2018 Ram 1500s. Now the Red Rock OEM style flares will be a great choice for those Ram owners looking to add a very subtle factory style flare, but without breaking the bank. Now this set of 4 flares will feature a durable automotive grade matte black plastic build, along with all of the hardware needed for the install for just north of that $200 price point. So if you're thinking about adding a set of flares to your Ram, then chances are you'll find a bunch of different options here on the site, a majority of which, I'll be honest, they're gonna be pretty aggressive. Now, those other flares typically offer a bunch of coverage for things like an aggressive offset, and in most cases they offer that pocket style bolt-on appearance. And while sure, they do appeal to a lot of owners out there, there's other group of owners that might prefer something that's gonna be, well, a little bit more low-key. And if that is the case, well then adding a set of the Red Rock OE style flares might just be the better option. Now don't get me wrong, there still are some additional coverage benefits here with the Red Rock OE flares in place. We're looking at probably an inch of additional coverage off the fender itself, but again, nowhere near the 3 or even more inches that those other more aggressive pocket style flares will deliver. Now another big thing I do like with this particular set of flares is that they are smooth. They do not include any of the fake hardware for that bolt-on look, which again, some owners might like. Other less is more fans out there, such as myself, might prefer more of that subdued look. Now, right out of the box, guys, you are getting a smooth, little bit of green here with the black plastic, but overall a very smooth flare given the matte black finish. It does have a UV coating baked into that plastic, so it's gonna prevent any fading on you over the years. Now, again, right out of the box, you're getting that nice color contrast, of course, on any color outside of black. But if you weren't a big fan of that contrast, you just wanted to go with an OE look, but maybe increase that factory style, you could always have these paint matched to match the color of your Ram. It's totally up to you. Unfortunately, we don't offer anything pre-painted here currently on the site, but if you have a paint hookup or you can spray stuff on your own, that is certainly an option here with these particular flares. Now again, that material is gonna be a smooth automotive grade polypropylene, basically plastic here, guys. Very durable, very lightweight. Again, that UV coating has been added. That's gonna prevent any fading on you over the years. The kit does include 4 flares, of course, here, guys, along with all the hardware needed to get everything in place. Moving into price point here, guys, and the Red Rock flares on the table today gonna come in right around that low $200 price point, making them very affordable overall, especially when you do compare them to those more aggressive pocket style flares that we talked about earlier. Those guys will typically reach into the $300, even $400 range. Switching gears, let's get into the install portion of the video, guys. And the site does have this one at a solid 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter here, taking you about 3 hours to complete from start to finish. Now, some Ram owners out there might encounter a little bit of drilling, some may not, but to shine a little bit more light on the install and how things might go down on your Ram at home, feel free to check out our detailed walkthrough and tool breakdown.
The tools you're gonna need for this install include a 1/4 inch and 3/8 electric or regular ratchet, a 7, 8, and 10 millimeter socket, a Phillips head socket or a regular Phillips head screwdriver, and a pick. What's up, guys? Today we're gonna be installing a set of fender flares on our Ram, so let's get started. All right, guys, so the first step you wanna do is you wanna grab some exterior cleaner and clean around the bedside, so that way later in the install, when we apply our fender flare, it'll be nice and clean. So the first step we're gonna do is grab an 8 millimeter socket. We're gonna remove these 2 bolts that hold in the mudguard. The original bolts are 10 millimeter bolts, but ours are 8. So we'll take that 8 mil, we're gonna remove these 2 bolts. So now that we have those 2 bolts removed, we're gonna grab a clip removal tool. And we have 1 clip down here that we gotta pop out. Repeat this process on the other side. So now we'll grab that same 8 millimeter socket. We're gonna remove 7 of these bolts that hold in the fender liner. Now we got 2 more bolts that we're going to remove with our 8mm socket. Next up, we're going to be focusing on this middle hole here. We're going to have our screw clip protector and our screw clip. First thing we're going to do is we're just going to set this over the hole, and then we're going to slide our clip protector through. This just protects your paint. And something you could do to make this install a little easier is you can grab a pick and poke through the hole so you have an idea where the screw is going to go. Next, we're going to loosely install our fender flare. We're going to start off with that middle hole that we put on the screw clip. We're going to use those included Phillips head screws to go all around. So first, I'm going to put the screw through that middle hole. I'm going to line that up with our screw clip. So now I screwed that Phillips head screw in to our clip retainer. Then I'm going to grab a Phillips head screw on a socket. You guys, of course, at home could use a Phillips head screwdriver. I'm just going to lightly tighten this up. So now we can come over to the end of our fender flare. We're going to reuse that hardware that we used to remove that mud guard that was here. These are 8mm, but again, yours would be 10mm bolts. So we're going to thread those in to our factory locations. And we'll tighten these up with my 8mm socket and your 10mm socket. So now we can go through with the remaining holes, and we're going to thread in our Phillips head screws. I'll be using a Phillips head screw socket, but of course you guys at home can use a Phillips head screwdriver. I'm going to start down here at the bottom. Make sure we have everything lined up. So if you guys are going around and you don't have a original clip screw in here, you can grab the new ones that we have in the kit with that paint protector. We're going to slide that over. And once you have that lined up, we'll grab that pick. You can use that to make the hole a little easier. We'll take our screw. And we'll thread that in. So we have one more screw that's missing a place. So we're going to install another screw clip. Use our pick, and we'll screw our Phillips head screw into place. All right guys, so next step, you're going to grab yourself an alcohol pad, and we're going to peel this back a little bit. And we're going to clean down that surface to prepare for the 3M backing that's on the top here. So I'm going to rip this open. I'm just going to peel this back. I'm going to go around. Somebody can come over to either end and grab the red backing, and we're going to peel that off. We're going to go all the way around, and we're going to press our fender flare onto the bedside. So now we got a hold of that red backing. We're just going to start peeling, and in that process, we're going to stick it into place. Might need to hold it down for a few seconds. So now that we have our double-sided tape in place onto the vehicle, We're gonna grab that Phillips head screw socket or your Phillips head screwdriver, and we're gonna go around and tighten up all of our screws. Then we can swap back over to my 8mm and your 10mm, and we're going to tighten these two down. Now at the front of our ram, the first thing we're going to do is remove these two bolts for our mud guard. So it's going to be my 8 and your 10mm. So we're going to remove these two bolts. Then we'll grab our clip removal tool, pop that clip out on the bottom. So next we're going to go around and removing all of our 8mm bolts. There's going to be 5 in total. On our vehicle there is only 2, so I'll show you how to remove those. Next we'll grab our screw clip and our screw clip protector. I'm going to slide that over. We're going to be attaching 2 of these onto this hole here and this hole here. I'm going to use that pick that we used for the rear to poke a hole. So we have our location, and that same thing for our other hole. So now I'm just going to go around to all of the missing locations and put in our screw clip with that protector. So we have 2 more. Here and here. All right guys, so now we're just about ready to install our fender flare. Once again, you can go through and wipe down your quarter panel with some exterior spray, just so we have a clean surface. So I'm going to start off with the 2 holes on the sides, and we're going to line this line up with the bumper to the quarter panel. All right, so now we have this one holding the fender flare up in place. We'll come over to our second one. We're going to do that same thing. Then we can grab our Phillips head screw on a socket or your Phillips head screwdriver. Just going to bring this in a little bit. I want to fully tighten it down. Now we're going to go around with the rest of the screws and thread them into place. Just going to get that started with our screw. Same for this one. Now we're going to grab an alcohol wipe and wipe our surface down for that 3M double-sided tape. So now we're going to let that dry, then we're going to grab the red backing of our tape and we're going to peel that off and stick it onto our quarter panel. So now we can grab a hold of that red backing. It's going to go all the way around, pressing it firmly into place. Now we'll come through with our Phillips head screw socket or your Phillips head screwdriver, and we're going to go through and tighten these up. So now that our passenger side fender flares are installed, you can repeat that process on the driver's side. So that's going to wrap up the review and install on our Red Rock OEM style fender flares for your 09 to 18 Ram 1500, excluding Rebel. Thanks for watching, and for all things Ram, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.